Welcome. My name is Doug Simcox, and I'm here today with my co-host Sam Swearingen. Now, today, Sam and I are riding for the brand BTC Beyond the Chutes. Today, Sam and I are going to catch up, discuss some current events, and some upcoming rodeos that you will want to check out. Sam, we are right smack dab in what the Cowboys, the rodeo athletes, the cowgirls call Cowboy Christmas. For our listeners, can you describe that a little bit, the busyness and what's out there?
Well, the Cowboy Christmas is what they call over the 4th of July run for the reason there's so many rodeos and so much money that can be made. You can go to something almost every day. Colton tells me his schedule, and it's just amazing what you can get to, especially in the time events where they have slack at all these rodeos. He's competing in slack at most all of them, where there's 100 plus steer wrestlers, and you can get to so many more, and it's just a great thing for the contestants to have the opportunity to go to numerous rodeos. You can't get to near all of them.
Yeah. And so that many rodeos, that many opportunities, two things. Number one, a lot of planning, a lot of scheduling out what makes sense logistically. And that gets a little tougher, as we've talked, if you're traveling with a bunch of other guys.
Yeah. And it is logistically a nightmare, basically.
Right.
The one guy that Colton's traveling with, the senior leader in the crew, I guess, he had to go to Calgary, and the rest of the crew didn't get invited up there. So they had to split up, and he, I guess, probably flew up and rode somebody else's horse and placed in a round. I thought he was really going to do good, but came back on a second one and just missed the nose to really do good. But that's rodeo, you know.
You bet.
So yeah, they try to keep the buddy system of 4 in the truck going together and at the same time. But if some people make the short round, some people don't, you know, it gets split up and gets hectic.
In the old days, I had heard that as a rough stock rider, I might enter 2 or 3 rodeos that actually are opposite each other, meaning I have to choose 1, 2, or 3, and I wait till the draw comes out. So which rodeo is going to give me the best opportunity based on the horse or the bull that I've drawn? Are they still doing that? Do you know?
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as prevalent because they kind of know where they want to go. But
yeah.
I'm sure they're still doing it. That's playing the game to take your best opportunity to win. They even enter, because I think in the system now you can't be out 2 rodeos the same day.
Oh, okay.
So they might even, if they don't want to get up at a big rodeo on a certain day, they might enter a small rodeo without the intention of ever going.
I see. Okay.
And then which is really rough on the contractors, because it takes up a spot with somebody in the show, and they never intended to be there in the first place, and it just isn't really fair to the contractors. They got to bring more livestock and everything, and they don't get to use it.
Right.
So,
right.
But that's playing the game.
And it's playing the game. And all the loopholes, right? And it's Cowboy Christmas, so I want to maximize my earning potential. But I got to say, before I leave the house, logistically, I know I've got a bunch of miles I got to drive. I'm maybe flying in the middle of all of it. And all that is a big investment just in travel and entry fees and that sort of thing. So before I leave the house, Sam, I've got a big investment.
It is astronomical, to say the least. You know, fuel and entry fees and food, and if you do stay in motels, most people don't. They have their horse trailers or whatever. But or they're just on the road all night, just sleeping in the van.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it is entry fees alone are at those big events, anywhere from $100 to $300.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it makes it a very expensive game, but it's hobbies are expensive, so go ahead,
There
enjoy
you go. There you go.
it.
And every so often I'll see a posting comes through about a roper or a dogger or something like that. How many dollars they won during that Cowboy Christmas period, and I'm seeing numbers like $25,000 gets won in that pretty short amount of time. So good earning potential out there. But again, boy, if you're running a business and rodeo is a business, you've got a big investment before you ever leave the house.
Yeah, and your investment is from what if you wanted to do this since you're 6 years old, you invested your life into it to get there,
That's exactly
along with
right.
a lot of other people.
Oh,
And your parents have been, your parents have invested a lot more than you
that's
have.
yeah, that's for sure. We did high school rodeos, of course. We were around the high school rodeo athletes announcing and putting on rodeos, and they travel in some pretty nice rigs. Some big money rigs. Mom and dad are investing the money, and they're spending lots of time out on the road. Um, I'd done some checking, a nice rolling horse trailer, maybe a 3 or 4 place. You're upwards of $100,000, Sam. It's crazy the amount of money just for the gooseneck horse trailer with living quarters. Of course, you can get slide outs and everything in them now. So big money, and then don't forget you got a big old truck or Freightliner or whatever, right? And you can about 100,000, you can get you a pickup truck that'll pull it pretty easy, or for about 200,000, you can put them into get into one of these Freightliners. So big money before you ever leave the house.
Yeah, and it just because you have a big truck and trailer doesn't make you win.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
but yes, the sky's the limit. You say 200,000. Well, you can spend much more than that on just the truck
Right,
or just the trailer. It just depends where you want to go. But
right.
most of the people that are really running up down the road as rodeo contestants
Hmm.
don't do that because it's harder to get them in and out
Ah,
of
yeah.
these grounds. And the ones that are the high school people and like that do it more because it's more of a family
Hmm.
weekend. They're going and camping out and they're doing things for the kids that you know, Carrie always said, you can pay it now or pay it later.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's do it now. Well, we're achieving something,
Right,
and
right.
it makes perfect sense. If you try to keep your kids on the right track to
Oh,
start with,
absolutely.
it, it, it avoids a lot of pain in the future
That's
sometimes.
that's that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Absolutely. Um, so what have you been up to, Sam? What have you been doing? Still upstate New York?
Still in upstate New York,
Mm,
yep, and haven't been real busy, there for a few weeks. I was running like crazy doing hay, and but things have slowed down, and doing a little fixing around the house, and finally went up to the farm and started doing a little cleaning and work up there. And catch pens are all falling down, and
mhm.
need to get a little welding done, and just try to improve things a little bit around
You
here.
bet. You bet. Always something to do on the farm, right? Always.
Always, whether you want to do it or not, there's always something to
Absolutely.
do. Stand back,
Absolutely.
look at it, and say, "Oh, I don't want to get into that today." But
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Well, Laura and I had kind of a busy weekend. We went to Rochester, Minnesota. My nephew Ty and his fiancee Allie got married over the weekend. So went up, beautiful bride. Ty, he looked handsome. And I got to tell you, lots and lots of great people we met up there. Just the families were great. And and had a really, really, really nice time. And before I went, of course, stopped off in Cedar Falls on the way in Iowa. We drove out. I got a haircut. And some folks, Sam, with the haircuts, they like to show up to a wedding like, bam, you just came from the barber chair, you know? Not me, not me. I want to look like I planned ahead, that my hair just kind of always looks, ready. So went in, and Eli, my nephew, just started cutting hair with my sister who owns a shop. And I sat down in the chair and I said, Eli, I said, I've got a wedding to go to this weekend. Imagine I'm here 2 weeks from now. I want it to look like that. And he did.
Uh,
It did. He did.
uh,
But
Fantastic.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, it's good that at our age we still have some hair.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. That was very, very nice. So good to see family and hang out. We had a nice trip back on Monday, and just kind of catching up now because we're gonna be headed east to the northeast, Sam, up in your general area. Headed up to New Hampshire. We've got family up there that we're going to be hanging out with for about a month, and just yeah, some small projects while we're up there. Going to do a little driving, a couple tracks up there I've never been to, so gonna haul the Celica up there and do a little road racing while I'm there. And the cool thing is that car, Sam, it's also street legal, so I can go get groceries or tool around and go see things. A little bit loud and a little bit obnoxious looking, but
Um,
for the most part, it's okay.
you'll get some looks from the curb, huh?
I do. I do. I do. Some other stuff going on, podcast updates. Brand new website is under construction. I've got Ben and Tyler. They are going to work. And what's neat about those two guys, now Tyler, he's helping me build a porch here, and he's a designer. He's got that eye, and then how to make it look. And then Ben, he's the guy who says, "Tell me what you want. I'll build it to do exactly what you want. But you make it look nice. I'll make it function." So we've got that going on. We'll see where that goes. Excited about that because a lot of the stuff, Sam, that we do a lot of research to get ready for our conversations. We'll talk about some of that here in a bit, but we want a place so we can put those links up online. Some of the research we're doing, and some of the information we're finding as we go and do that research. So, well, definitely want to put that up on the website. And then a poster. Tyler, who's helping with the website, he designed a brand new poster for us. He designed our logo, the BTC logo, the brand, and we're just now starting to get that out into the world just a little bit. I sent you a picture of it, Sam. What'd you think of that poster?
Look nice, Doug.
Yeah,
Look good.
yeah,
The boy's got talent, huh?
he does.
Yeah.
He does. Really
Yeah.
nice job. And what's cool, it's got a QR code on it, and we're going to post this up. It's going to be at Attica on your brother's trailer. So while you're waiting for the food, and you gotta go to Mike and Robin's there, and poutine, right? That's what they serve, poutine.
That's the specialty, yeah.
So can you
Mhm.
describe poutine for our listeners and kind of where you might have had poutine for the first time?
Well, poutine is a French dish,
Hmm.
and French can Quebec French Canadians, I guess. I don't know if it's from France also, but
Yeah.
it's very popular up there. And it is fresh cut potatoes with some kind of gravy with cheese curds on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very, very good, like most cholesterol food is.
Right. Right.
uh,
Yeah.
but actually, I had some the other day. We had a lot of family in over at the lake over the 4th of July for
Yeah.
my aunt and uncle's 70th wedding anniversary. And or
70th.
60th. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
60th.
60th.
Okay,
Yeah,
man.
it's my parents' 70th here
Are you? Oh,
shortly, but it
wow.
was their 60th.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Mike had some up there, and it'd been a while since I had it. And it's just good. And
Yeah.
they do a lot of different twists, with put barbecue beef or pork on it, and
Yeah.
it, it's it's delicious. French fries, anything on French fries is going to be pretty good. So
Absolutely.
let's
Absolutely.
go.
Let's go. Cheese curds.
And
It's got all the food products on
yeah, and probably up at St. Tite, Quebec is probably the first time I ever had it.
it.
And when
Right.
I first seen it, it's kind of like, what the heck is this stuff? It's
Right.
kind of, oh, okay,
Yeah.
let's go. It's good.
So now you got to get it when you go to St. Tite. I mean, there's just no way around it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mike's going to have his food trailer, so you got to check him out. He's going to be at Attica. We'll be talking about that rodeo here in just a little bit. And look for our posters up on the side of that trailer. It's got a QR code on it, Sam. So when you walk up, you point your phone at it, takes you right to our media page, which says, do you want to listen on Spotify? Do you want to listen on Apple Podcasts? So real quick, get in. But while you're waiting for the food, more than enough time to go ahead and get signed up, and of course, like it, follow it, share it, do all that good stuff with it. So I hope you enjoy the posters. And you see your name was on that poster, Sam?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
pretty
I don't know what to
prominently
think about it, but
displayed
I see
there.
it's on there. Might chase people away, but
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
and another thing about the poutine, Doug, it's
yeah,
so popular up
yeah.
in Quebec. They have it at the McDonald's and all the
Oh
fast food
wow.
restaurants up
Okay,
there. So,
okay. It's
yeah,
a base staple up there. Absolutely.
yeah.
Very, very cool. And then some other updates on podcasts. We got a new sponsor, Sam, Parasite, and it's Parasight. You want to check them out online, parasite.com. They they have a system where you can send in, let's say you've got a couple horses, Sam, in the pasture. They're out in the pasture. You can send in fecal samples to them. You go online, you pick up a kit, and they will come back and tell you what specific larva your horse has, the count of the eggs are, and then you can take that to your veterinary and get the specific wormer that will eradicate those specific worms. So it's we're going to invite you to check that out. And we're going to have Eric, the owner of Parasite. He's going to be coming on. He's going to be giving us some information on this. But if you've got a performance horse, if you've got a cow calf operation, he told me on a cow calf, what you would do, Sam, is test maybe 5 to 10% of your cows, and that should give you a pretty good representation of what kind of infestation you may have. Goats, sheep, and they're just rolling out a brand new product for dogs and cats. And what it is a very quick turnaround. And a lot of vets across the United States now have his Parasite system in their offices, and I mean they can turn it around very quickly. The old-fashioned way is the vet would send it off to a lab, and they would do the microscope work I should say, and they would come back and tell you what you got going on. So they can do it super, super quickly. So look for more information to come, but we are excited to have Parasite with us as a brand new sponsor.
That's something you don't. I would think of it in the spring and the fall because that's when I would worm the animals,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that you don't really think of very often, but it is amazing that you can pinpoint what you need because I would just switch wormers up from
Mm-hmm.
one year,
Mm-hmm.
one season to the next, and you never knew what you were getting.
Yep.
And this is just a fantastic idea, or however they do it. When you first told me about it, I was very intrigued. And if you're feeding your livestock,
Mm-hmm.
and we all know feed's very expensive now,
Mm-hmm.
and the worms are eating a lot of it. you're just wasting money,
Absolutely.
wasting money. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
And I said, okay, let's say I roll in 50 head of feeder calves, right? I'm going to grow them out. What do I do? And he said, again, he said he would recommend that you'd test 5 to 10% of your herd, right, of what you have standing. And he said while that's a bit expensive through the testing, but it will be very pinpointed. And he said you'll make it back in weight gain, Sam, exactly to your point.
mhm. Yeah, and we all know feeder calves right now. At 500 pounder, you're going to spend 12, $1,300 for them.
You bet.
It's
You
hard
bet.
to make money. I don't. It's difficult. I got some feeder steers and stuff, and
Hmm.
it's hard to make money when you're spending that kind of money for them,
Hmm.
and it's scary to spend that kind of money on a large amount, and have 150, 200 head around there that if the bottom fell out of it, well,
You bet.
not a pretty day.
Not a pretty day.
But
Absolutely.
the future looks bright, but it's
Yeah.
it's it's also scary at the same time.
Absolutely.
So
So, we talk about the business of rodeo, and one of the things I think, Sam, that looking back upon the years of experience we both have, one of the things is how can we mitigate the risks um, for an individual, for me as a bull rider or a bronc rider, or you as a roper. How can we mitigate the risks that we may face going down the road? And of course, we're talking health insurance and life insurance and auto insurance and all those things that can really protect us and our families. And here is, as a cattle person, here's a way that we can mitigate the risk. We can improve our weight gains. We can shorten the amount of time it's going to take for those cattle to get to market, so that when you're talking about being at a high market like we are right now, man, if you're selling fat cattle right now, you're in tall cotton, right? So how do you mitigate those risks? And I'm excited about Parasite and excited about Eric coming on telling us about his systems and what he can provide for us.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think we're going to learn a lot about it. Parasites. I
Yeah,
think we're going to learn a lot about them. And then, Sam, we got some listener questions and comments. Dale, remember the last episode we said start right if you want to be a bull rider, junior bull rider, calf rider. We want you to, your advice was to develop the seat, meaning ride your horse bareback. So he heard that and said his son wasn't too excited. They were going on a fairly long trail ride, and his dad said no saddle. No saddle. Now, I pushed back and I said, no, 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 wait, wait, wait. Let's ease into this.
uh, yeah. You might only want to do it 20 minutes instead of 4 hours, but
Right, right.
uh,
And one of the
so
things I suggested, Sam, first off, ease into it. Just like any of this stuff, it's got to be fun or we're not going to do it. It's got to be fun or we're not going to learn. I suggested possibly, now tell me what you would change here. I suggested maybe put him up on the horse, maybe put a rope or something around the girth, right where the girth would go, and have him just work on body position and just walk him around, looking where he needs to look, keeping his chin down, lifting on his arm just a bit, on his hand. Anything you agree with that? Anything you would add to that?
um, yeah, that will definitely help. I don't know if he wants to ride bareback horses, if you put a girth around there to get him looking straight down at his hand, or you want to look where you want your feet to go,
Oh,
right at the shoulders
oh,
of the
okay,
horse.
okay.
Um,
Okay. Now,
but
so on a bareback horse or a saddle bronc horse, you would look where you want your feet to go in the spurring motion. And if you're practicing bull riding, calf riding, what would you recommend?
um, Basically what you just said, and to make sure you stay up over your hand. Don't
Hmm.
keep letting it slide back and slide back. off your hand. Keep up over them. Don't don't break at the waist.
Okay.
Reach for the front,
Mm-hmm.
but don't break at the waist.
Mm-hmm.
That I went to a bull riding this week, and I was watching the guys get on the little bucking machine there. They had a Mighty Bronchi,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
Mighty Bucky. I don't know which one it was at this point, but they were almost every one of them was breaking at the waist. If that would have been bucking, it would have smacked them right in the head every jump.
I see. I see. Okay.
Instead of bowing that chest out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just didn't understand, and I did help a couple boys, and some wanted to listen, and
Yeah.
some didn't.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and that's you can't force them to listen to you.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
and that's okay. You know, but yeah, the biggest thing when I was just watching them, they're playing around and stuff. Every one of them was breaking at the waist
Okay.
instead of poking that chest out and
Poking
reaching forward.
Okay. Okay.
But
So
mhm,
practice perfect, right? That's what you always talk about.
exactly. Bad habits come easy. You don't
Yeah.
need to enforce them.
You bet. You bet. You bet.
And more what they're doing is they're feeling an animal.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
when what you told them to do, they're feeling the movement, the withers, the everything underneath them,
Mm-hmm.
and it needs to be second nature.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's
All
good.
right. All right. Good. Good. The other question that came up, or kind of wanting a little more information, we had talked about helmets, and you said you're not a fan of 'em on the bucking horses, and he had a little more question about that. Now, I was assuming when we're talking bucking horses, we're talking about the pro rodeo type of horses. Um, you had said you were worried a little bit about the movement of the helmet, to the weight of the helmet, and the bucking motion of the horse.
Yes, in saddle bronc riding and bareback riding, your head gets jerked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've had two neck operations from my head getting
Okay.
jerked.
Okay.
Um, and that's the thing, that extra 2 pounds or 2.2 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of weight on your head.
It is. It is.
Uh, when the boys were here and wanting to ride, Dale and Eli, I would have them do stuff to strengthen their neck muscles
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so that they can keep their chin down so that it's not going to rip them
Yep.
as bad.
Yep.
Uh, I watched yesterday Calgary,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the hay boys got on a horse, and oh God, it ripped his head. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
about as bad as I've seen.
Okay.
You want to run behind him and try to catch it.
Right.
Oh, it was. You could see his father up there. I was going through his pain.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
damn, my poor kid.
Yeah.
But I am not a fan because of that.
Okay.
Everything else, the protectiveness and all that. And if they want to do anything right now, I'd get them working those neck muscles and
Yep.
strengthen them up
Okay.
because
Okay.
it's tough anyway.
Yeah.
And and I know some of these associations require helmets
Yep.
at a young age
Yep.
on these animals,
Yep.
and I just don't agree with it.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
I, I I think it could hurt you more than help you at that point
Yeah.
in your life.
Absolutely. No, I understand that. And in the bareback riding, because of that jerking motion, you see a lot of these guys that'll have a collar or neck collar brace, right? That'll
Hmm.
support them from so much of that movement. What do you know about those? And I mean, got to be a good thing, I should think.
Fantastic,
Okay.
fantastic. It cushions the head, the ripping
Mm-hmm.
back there.
Yep.
It's a great idea. It softens the blow, I guess, because you're still going to get ripped,
Yeah.
and your hand's stuck in that rig, and the physics of it, something's got to give somewhere.
Yep. Yep.
That's why I pull my back cinch loose on big horses. You got to let some power go between that animal
I see.
and your saddle.
Okay.
Something's got to go.
Something's got to go.
So on the bareback riders, most of the time it's their neck, that power going up through there. If that cushions it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't see any of those guys wearing helmets
Mm-hmm.
for that reason.
Right. Right. And
It's
with the neck support, the collar, you see just about every bareback rider has it. Just start with that. Don't wait for an injury. Don't wait for stuff headed your way. Just be smart, kind of like the protective vests.
be proactive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
be proactive because you're going to need it if you're moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Get used to it at a young age and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
practice perfect.
Practice perfect. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The more you can do ahead of time, the better.
Yeah. And one of the talking about practice perfect, one of the other comments that came in a little more question around what is a drop barrel. And I sent the listener off a link. And again, this is stuff we'll be posting up on the website so that they can see, oh, this is what a drop barrel is. And it's non-powered, Sam. Looks like a 55-gallon drum. There's a couple versions out there. They're not terribly expensive. Did you have a drop barrel at the house that you worked with the boys with?
We built one
Mm-hmm.
later on.
Mm-hmm.
I actually built one for Dalen for Christmas one year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't because I'm not very good that way, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
had it built. And I did some things wrong. I tried to make it where I did make it so it would swivel
Uh-huh.
also,
Uh-huh.
so I could move it from side to side, but I don't know if that helped at all.
Okay. Okay.
They do have people that build them and they're inexpensive enough that I would go get one and work on it with your kids because
Mm-hmm.
it did help. I never heard of a drop barrel till I went to Jerome Davis's and what the heck is this thing? And
Yeah.
he showed me and at first I kind of scratched my head and didn't think much of it. But as they used it, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
this is good.
Yeah.
But you have to practice perfect, get out of shape. He would demonstrate when guys got out of shape how to turn loose and jump back to the front. If you try to hold on, you're not going to make it.
Yep. Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
and they do have them motorized now.
A drop barrel.
Dalen, yeah, Dalen has one that it's got an electric motor on it with a camshaft that just goes up and down, and
Okay. Okay.
he can get on it and turn it on himself and ride it for a while and get off it. And
Okay. Okay.
it's really good, actually. Kind of busted Gary's face, I guess, one day. She was pulling something off. It hit the button, it turned on and
Oh.
whacked her.
Oh. Wow. Oh. Wow.
The poor girl, she had a
Yeah.
black eye, and
Oh my
but
goodness.
they're really they're a great tool, and the manual ones are pretty inexpensive. And if you're mechanical at all, you can look at them and build one that's not that difficult.
Yeah.
And
So a little bit
yeah,
of welding capability and that sort of thing.
yep,
Okay.
welding and a little bit of steel, and your frame, and take a 55-gallon drum and crush it a little bit to be more of a shape of a bull, and put her on there.
Yeah.
So,
So this could be a challenge for Dale. He's the one asking the questions about all this stuff, and with good reason. He's interested in Sawyer, right? Learning the right way, getting the basics of things. So this could be a challenge back to Dale. Hey, get something designed, and I know he can weld. He's great mechanically. Get something put together and give us some feedback. Tell us what's working. What do you like? And then Sam, practice perfect. We can't stress that enough. Don't be lazy, right? In your posture, in not creating a hump in your back. We want to develop positive skills.
exactly. And I relate it back to wrestling. I was I did not know a lot of moves
Mm-hmm.
when I wrestled,
Mm-hmm.
but what I knew extremely well,
Yeah.
and I was able to use them almost at will.
Yeah.
because we practiced and practiced and practiced. So when you get on your drop barrel or whatever you're doing to practice, do it right
Mm-hmm.
and overemphasize it so that when you need it, it comes through for you.
Yeah.
Not get on there and break at the hips and or keep your free arm lower than it should be,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
because when you're on your animal, it's going to go that way.
You bet.
So
You bet.
it'll be what you practice.
You're creating muscle memory, right? That's the object.
That's exactly the term they're all using now
Mm-hmm.
is muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, if you have to think about it, it's too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just needs to happen.
You bet.
So
And how long would these drills be? How long does Dalen get on and ride a drop barrel? I mean, is it minutes? Is it what do you know?
um I would say it's probably not much more than 30 seconds.
Okay. Okay.
And then he might stop and get off and move around and think about it a little bit and then get back on it,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't, you don't want to do it to where you're tired
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and then you start doing bad habits,
Yeah.
you know.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You, once you get tired, you're not doing it the way exactly. So do it right. You only got to ride for 8 seconds.
Right.
So, and another thing like the horse riders and that, Carrie's brother Kenny and I were talking one time. Dalen was starting to ride bareback horses, and I was making him do it perfect. Just lift them
Mm-hmm.
on the spur board, just lift them perfect and
Mm-hmm.
use them leg muscles, and it's going to pull you to your rigging and do it right. And then Kenny said, he said at the end, I would go about 15 seconds just as fast and hard as I could spur.
I see. Okay.
And I thought, well, that isn't helping you control. We
Yeah.
talked. I said, that doesn't help you keep your control and your tuck and all that stuff. He said, no, but it makes your feet faster and you're not always going to be in that perfect position like you're teaching them.
I see.
You're
I
not
see.
always going to be there. So just make your feet fast so you can get back to where you want to be.
Okay.
So just go as fast and hard as you can spur it for 15 seconds and then quit. Don't get tired. And that'll wear you down some too. He said
You
that
bet.
15 seconds as fast and hard as you can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And I gotta
makes sense.
it makes sense. And I gotta imagine the drop barrel, whether it's 30 seconds like you were talking, or the spur board, and we'll probably get some questions. So I may get ahead of that a little bit, so we can describe maybe next time we get together what a spur board is, right? I gotta imagine that's going to point out if you're sore, if your arm gets sore or your legs get a little tired or something, maybe pointing at, hey, maybe a little conditioning or stretching or something to build those muscles. Because it is a different set of muscles than we use when we walk or hike.
Yes, and very different.
Mm-hmm.
it it's it's like anything. If you build the muscles that you're using for the game,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna. A pitcher doesn't work. Well, that's kind of an uncomparison
Mm-hmm.
because everybody uses all kinds of muscles.
You bet. You
It's
bet.
not just a pitcher doesn't just use his arm muscles.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's his stomach, I'm sure, his core, his legs
Mm-hmm.
to get the
Mm-hmm.
power to get the ball there. I don't know anything about baseball,
Yep.
but I do know that it's multi muscles that you're using for these events.
You bet.
So
You bet.
if the more conditioning you can do and then work on specific core, I
Mm-hmm.
think is
Mm-hmm.
huge on
Mm-hmm.
any one of these rodeo. It doesn't matter, calf roping, steer wrestling, and bull riding. Core is just amazing. I think that's why the Amish guys do so well in the start of
Mm-hmm.
things is their core is so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And get out and bale some hay to build that core, right? Go pitch some bales.
Come on, boys, I need some help.
Well, Kathleen calls. She's got 500 bales that she's going to be putting in today. So she's
Well,
yeah. She
you
invited
need
me
some
up to
help
do
too.
yeah. She invited me up, and I've done that. I've done that.
And you're not going, Doug?
Well, as it turns out, I said you got to find some folks up there local, right? You can't always depend on your dad. And probably after 25 bales, Sam, I'm probably not going to be the best help. I just have to admit it.
Mm,
You know,
you
I'm
might be surprised compared to the other help.
I'm I'm not in hay baling condition.
Mm, mm, I don't think any of us are.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I like the kind of hay you make, which you go pick up with a
Mm,
big tractor.
yeah, but that other's good for you,
Oh, the other's
especially
good
the
for you.
young kids.
Oh,
That and a
absolutely.
pitchfork, there's nothing better for core.
Yeah, that's
Pitchfork and a
exactly right.
shovel.
Pitchfork and a shovel. Absolutely. So, and I like where we're going with this. We gotta build the muscle so we have muscle memory. We gotta build the muscles so we have strength, and we're gonna use those specific muscles, as you said, your baseball analogy, your pitcher analogy, absolutely. And Sam, the better condition I'm in, the better these muscles that don't naturally get used as much, except when I'm riding a bronc or I'm riding a bull. It's got to help me with keeping my injuries down as well.
I'm sure. I you know, a big injury, you're not going to stop at a knee or something like that. But if you do get a sore or tear your knee up, you better strengthen the muscle around it to protect it.
You bet.
So
You bet.
the more physical condition you are, it's got to help immensely,
You bet.
immensely for
You bet.
what these kids are doing.
Yep. And when we talk about the business of rodeo, we are talking about developing the skills. We are talking about building the muscles, being in good condition. Pay attention when you get off. Are you a bit winded? Maybe we need to work a little bit on some aerobic exercise to get our breathing capacity where it needs to be. Everything it's amazing, Sam. It's only 8 seconds, but it's amazing. Do you ever get off a bronc and be a little bit short of breath?
Well, I have because my neck wouldn't allow me to breathe there when I
Oh,
had a
oh,
neck injury.
oh,
But
oh.
in this context, Tim O'Connell, three-time world champion bareback rider, we
Yeah,
were talking one day,
yeah,
and he
yeah.
said, and a state champion wrestler,
You bet. You bet.
which need to be in very good physical condition to be at that level.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he said he made the NFR a couple times and he got there and he did good on the good horses and the rank ones just beat him up. And he went back and got a personal trainer that he said put me through the ropes. He said just worked me and worked me. And he said then the next year it was a different story.
Okay.
When
Okay.
he went to the NFR, he beat up on those rank horses that just beat up on him the year before.
You bet.
And it was all about the really intense, and he said it, and I'm sure it was very intense conditioning
You
that
bet.
they
You
put
bet.
him through.
You bet. And we talk about wrestling condition. What does that take to be on the mat? For as long as that is, and as much energy as we're using up. But we also talk about bull riding condition and bronc riding condition and team roping condition and all those things. So I think we got to do a little research on this, Sam. I know there's resources out there that'll point you at, and no matter what, I think anything that strengthens your core, like you were talking, anything that strengthens your core, pitchfork, baling hay, carrying buckets of grain, any of that stuff is the stronger the core, the better you are.
And a girlfriend barrel racer,
Yeah,
carry her water, carry her hay, all
absolutely.
that
Yeah,
stuff.
don't yeah. Let her
Be a
get
gentleman about it. It helps you in the long run.
That's right. Now be careful how you explain that maybe to that barrel
Oh.
racer. No, hon, I want you to tote the hay because it's good for your core. Be choiceful. Be choiceful. Be choiceful. So we're gonna do a little more research on conditioning and some of the possible resources that are out there for, and it isn't, you're right, it isn't just for bronc riders and bull riders. It's for, you better have a lot of core strength if you are a steer wrestler, Sam.
Yes, maybe the most.
Maybe the most. Absolutely.
Because I've learned so much with Colton doing it now.
Yeah.
It's not just getting down there and the big guy is just having the strength. You got to get up over those horns and push down on that and bring it around. And so to get up over those horns, it takes a huge amount of core strength.
Yep.
Huge.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet. And I think the better condition you are to ride your event, the better condition you are to travel down the road. And we talked about that earlier, the amount of miles and time. You're riding 8 seconds, but man, you are making a big, 6, 8, 10, 12 hour investment in time, in travel to get there. I think you need to be in traveling shape as well.
And that comes with time.
It does.
But
Yeah.
if you look at, you always want to be comfortable
Hmm.
traveling where you can rest
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and get good rest, which will bring the body back better,
You bet.
quicker.
You bet.
Um, so if you're not sore when you lay down, because if you're sore and you can't rest and you're twitching and turning and flopping, even
Hmm.
if you're not driving,
Hmm.
uh, which I try to stay away from, but
Right. How's
even
that
if you're
working
not
out for
driving,
you
you want to
these
rest.
days, Sam? How's that
It's
working out for you?
it's not well. It's not well. I got to drive today.
Okay. Okay.
Not super far, but anyway, to rest peaceful,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it would help
You bet.
by being in better shape.
You bet. And resting peaceful takes me to the mental aspect of rodeo too, right? Can we clear our mind? Can we relax? Can we sleep when we need to sleep? Can we stay rested? And without a doubt, then hydration, man, as hot as it is, and as much as we're going, it is super super easy to get dehydrated.
Yes, um, very very easy, especially drinking these energy drinks and
Mm,
all that stuff.
mm,
I think that just makes it tough on you,
okay.
really tough.
Okay.
So water, Gatorade, uh, great for you.
You bet.
Uh,
You bet.
Energy drinks, I don't think are good for anybody.
Yeah. Well, they're certainly not
So
going to help you rest and sleep as you're going down the road, I can't imagine.
no, no.
No. And we are just 4 days away from the National High School Finals, Gillette, Wyoming, kicking off, Sam. And remember, we got Hayden Pack, our pole bender out of Kentucky. We want to wish her well. Have fun. I know we say that every single time. Have fun, and I love your advice as she's sitting in the alley ready to go. Run them like you run them at the house. I love it. A pole pattern is a pole pattern, right? They're always going to be in the same place once you drop into that pattern. So,
Yeah.
any other advice for young Hayden as she gets ready to roll?
Um, just enjoy your time with your parents. I know your
Yeah,
kids that you're kind of half. Oh, and each kid's different, but it's your parents. You don't. Well, yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
enjoy it.
yep.
This is the time of your life that you'll look back on and say, "Wow, that was really neat
You bet.
doing that.
You
That
bet.
was really cool." So enjoy the time and the opportunities you're given.
Yep.
Treat it as an opportunity, not as a
Absolutely.
job.
Absolutely. Take some pictures, send them to us, huh, Sam? We'll post them up.
Yeah,
Send them to us.
sure.
Record your journey. Record your adventure. And no doubt these she knows how to do all this stuff, social media and everything. But my golly, what a great way, when you were competing, when you went to Little Britches Rodeo Finals in Colorado, you might have been lucky to walk out of there with a couple pictures, you know.
You-
But man, to
eh,
be able to document it now, Sam, this is pretty cool.
yeah, you can document start to finish if you want to. It
Absolutely.
is a different world, and everybody's got a phone. So the next thing is mind what you're doing and do things right. Because if you're not, it'll be out there.
Yeah, that's right.
And
You're always on camera. They're always
Yeah.
recording in today's world. So, yeah, that's good advice. I like that. I like that. So that
Yeah.
kicks off in Gillette. That kicks off on the 16th, runs through the 22nd, and then switching here, Sam. A little bit of a somber note, or quite a somber note. Fred Backless, APRA bareback riding champion, up in I believe Warsaw, New York, passed away last week. Very very sad to see that, and yeah, tough times, and sending out love and prayers to Michelle and Lewis's son. And you knew him, Fred or Sam, better than I did. I knew him going down the road. I did see him compete. When he was winning all of his titles. My impression was always just a great guy.
Yeah, Fred and his family, God bless them. It's going to be tough times. And he was an outstanding cowboy. He rode bareback horses, like won the American Professional Rodeo Association, I think, 13 times. Uh, this was a force to be reckoned with here in the bareback ride. And then he switched to team roping as he quit riding barebacks, and he got good at that. Not on a huge competitive level, but he really enjoyed it. And him and Lewis roped together.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lewis started putting on events, bull riding events, and they uh, they stay pretty busy with it. So it'll be tough for the family, and he just a very God fearing
Mm-hmm.
man that had cancer and just didn't didn't beat it.
Right, right,
It beat him, and
right.
there wasn't much that beat Fred in life. But
Mm-hmm.
we're sad to say that he'll be missed. He'll be very
Absolutely,
missed.
absolutely, very much. And I can remember when we were doing some rodeos. Not that long ago, he and Fred and Lewis would show up, and it was more about the time together. I always got a sense. Sure, it's fun to win, it's fun to catch, it's fun to do all that in the team roping. But man, I just always got the impression they simply enjoyed each other's company and got to do something together.
Yes, and that's exactly what I got too.
Hmm.
They weren't out there to anything other than to enjoy what they were doing.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, you want to win. I don't care who you are. You don't enter a rodeo not thinking you're not going to win.
Yep.
But watching them enjoy the time together is the biggest thing I took away from it.
You bet. So some lessons there. Let's enjoy it as we do it, right?
Yeah,
And they say the question is, can you enjoy the destination if you don't enjoy the journey? Right. So we're talking about all the travel and all the planning and all the conditioning and all the skills that need to be built and all the great time that we get to spend with one another as we go down the road. In his case, with his son Lewis, um, for that 4 second team roping or 6 second team roping run. That's the destination, I suppose, right? That's the goal. Yeah, let's go win a bout buckle. Let's go win a rodeo. But man, let's focus on that journey as much as we do the destination.
exactly. Exactly. Well said.
Yeah. And then, Laura and I were traveling back on Monday, and she gets a post. She sees a post come up through, and it's about the horse trailer fire that was out around Guthrie. Elena Holmes and her daughter Bailey were traveling. Had the horses in the back. They had gooseneck trailer pulling with a pickup truck, and the trailer caught on fire. And they are suspicious that, or they're thinking that somebody carelessly may have thrown a cigarette out as they passed, and it actually hit the hay manger and started the trailer on fire. And they just finished up the Little Britches Rodeo in Guthrie. They're headed to Shawnee to the International Finals Youth Rodeo. They only had a couple hours to go. Wasn't that far. It didn't sound like. but they lost the horses and burned the trailer down. And the point that, I mean, how sad that is, how incredibly sad that was. Elena and her daughter weren't hurt. However, they lost two great horses. And what I read was put your fly net to your fly screens up on your windows. Helps protect the horses, but also a cigarette butt would hit the net and bounce away. So very, very sad.
Yeah,
Very
very
sad.
sad. You know, yeah, the fly screen. I don't know why you'd want your horse's head sticking out there for stone or something to hit it in the eye.
Mm,
But it, if that's, and that's the first I heard the cigarette butt. I guess I just assumed it was electrical fire or
hmm Bearing,
generator or
bearing
something.
on a wheel. They said the generator was not on. Um, and they said it started in the hay area. I immediately thought it was a bearing in the trailer axle.
Right. Yeah, which would make sense. You know,
Hmm
I
hmm
went to electrical first,
hmm
and
hmm
a bearing would be typical same scenario. But
Yeah.
it, whatever it is, and it would be a real shame if it was somebody that just threw a cigarette out the window and it
Yeah.
ruined
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
kids' dreams and
Yeah.
all that. And they're on the road constantly, you
Oh
know,
man.
these trucks and trailers, and it, it's it's a dangerous game we play. My mother, she always said, I never worried about your ride, but I worried about
You
the
bet.
crap one.
You bet. And
So,
I would agree with that. Absolutely.
you know,
And there's enough going on to your point, just the travel. And I was watching the Calgary Stampede, I think it was 2 nights ago, and there was a barrel racer who had a horse that colicked and had to have an emergency colic surgery, right? There's just so
mhm.
much that happens. And I guess number one, if you're a cigarette smoker, keep your cigarette butts in your car. No sense to throw them out. And then put let's just do everything we can to prevent any of these types of things. If that means packing your bearings, on your trailers, just good maintenance, keeping your wiring up like you talked about, Sam. Man, just a tragic story.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Hmm
It's a shame. But
Yeah,
we all go through life's trials and don't know why, but
yeah.
it happens.
It
So,
happens. It happens. Yeah, absolutely. And that reminds me, one of the trainings I'm going through right now with the Miracle Activation Center, they have resiliency training. And just real quickly, I'm reading right direct from the book here. Resiliency has been defined as the ability to manage life's challenges, stresses, changes, and pressures effectively, right? And that's exactly what you just said. So, and what I'm learning is resiliency is a skill, how we see the world, how we react to the world, what skills can we put in place that can help us in those moments, where something's happening on the road, where something's happening at a rodeo, or something happening sitting in your house. There are skills that are available out there right now. So, boy, for me, this training coming on just fits into everything we're talking about when we talk about mental conditioning and physical conditioning and that sort of thing. So, as I get a little bit deeper into this, and it's neat to be a student and learn, it's really, really neat. So, I'll talk a little bit more about that as we get rolling on, Sam.
I would appreciate that. Yes, we all need to keep learning.
You bet.
Lord knows I need
Yeah.
a
And
lot to be learned out there.
And what I love about it is it's no different than skills that we learn to ride a bull or a bronc or team rope or run barrels or run poles like Hayden is going to be doing. It's and skills can be developed. That's what I love about it. And it gives us the ability to put with a little bit of practice, with a little bit of discipline, and all this requires to build a skill requires that discipline, requires that practice, that doing, if you will. So what I love about this training is, no, here's some things you can do in the midst of these things, these challenges and stresses and changes. Here's some different ways maybe to look at it. So, yeah, yeah. So we'll get into that a little bit more as we keep rolling on. The International Finals Youth Rodeo is opened up on the 9th. It's running through the 14th. Now, both Colton and Dalen, they competed there, right? It says they've got about 1,000 entries are going to show up and about $250,000 in prize money that gets handed out at the International Finals Youth Rodeo.
Yeah, both boys competed there. Um, they would go there before they went to the high school finals.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I've never been there. I always was busy, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people that run it and work that event, and it's they say it's just wonderful for the kids. Give big prizes away, and it it yeah, it's just a wonderful event for these kids. And it's, you watch Calgary and these big rodeos, and you see these kids coming up that are rookies and competing with these guys, and not just one or two of them, but I relate it all back to, okay, they've been there to the big stage and they've
Mm-hmm.
seen it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's not blinding them when they get there.
You bet.
They're they're all about it.
I
They
like
they
that.
know where they want to be and how to get there, and the big lights are not blinding them. They're moving forward, and it's really showing in the rodeo world now
Mm-hmm.
that the
Mm-hmm.
Raleigh Webbs and people like that are just stepping up the next level without missing a beat.
That is neat. That is neat. And that's a great perspective. I hadn't thought about that, but you're exactly right. Running in the big events and the pressure of the big events and part of that conditioning that we talk about. So speaking of big events, this point where I usually ask how Dalen is, I know I watched him with his rides up in Calgary. And I'm going to just do a spoiler alert here. He has qualified to next Sunday's finals, Sam.
Yeah, he uh, he he did well. He won one round and rode another bull. He bucked off his first one, and uh, his hand came out of the rope. Whatever the reason, I don't know, but he changed ropes and he's rode the next two sets. So
Okay. Okay.
uh, it yeah, that's what you go for. The big money is the Sunday. They take the top four out of each uh, pool, they say, and
Mm-hmm.
then the top four money winners out of each pool go back to Sunday, and that's where the big money is. So
Okay.
Dalen has already advanced. We discussed a little bit of his travel plans, and um, I gave him an idea of what to do from Mark Richmond, which gave it to me, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dalen went another route, and
Okay.
he's going to a rodeo, a PBR in Minnesota, the King of the North one,
Okay.
and there's Saturday, and then he's driving about it's 200 to 300 miles back to Minneapolis to fly to Dallas to fly back to Calgary.
I see.
And
Okay.
I,
Okay. Okay. Yep. Yep.
I said, why did you drive to Winnipeg and fly from there to Calgary? It's only, a
Yeah.
couple hours.
Yeah.
Well, I can sleep on the planes, he said.
Yeah.
So,
There you
okay,
go. Okay.
do
Get
what you want to
absolutely.
do.
Absolutely. So
Far be
so
it for me.
right, right, right. So and that's cool, all the different options that go on. I wasn't sure, did he stay, is he staying out? Cuz he qualified on Sunday, right?
Right. No, he actually flew home Monday,
Okay. Okay.
and he's home right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We talked a little bit when he was in the airport, and he said, I'm ready to be home. I want to be home.
You bet. You
Uh,
bet. You
and
bet.
that that is his enjoyment and his peace time. Go out with his cows.
Yep. Yep.
Ride his horse out there, ride his buggy out there, drive around, look at them. That is his relaxation. is working.
You bet.
And so
Very neat.
he's there
Very neat.
and
And
went
feels
and
good. He's healthy.
yeah, we did talk about that, but when he got off his last two, he moved very well. He
Okay.
wasn't limping like
Okay.
he had been.
Okay.
So he looks healthy, yes.
Okay. All right. So next Sunday at Calgary, we're gonna be watching, and for our listeners, you can see it live on the Cowboy channel. It's an app. What's cool about the Cowboy channel, it's you get these live rodeos and also archived rodeos. So if you happen to miss a round, it's at Calgary and you want to go back and watch it, super easy to find. Go watch it. And it also includes the National Finals Rodeo, all 10 rounds of that. So the Cowboy channel, they're not a sponsor, Sam, but I am going to plug them. That's how I watch it. And they have, of course, 100 rodeos in 100 days. So they're out there covering absolutely every rodeo that's around.
It, it, it for the people like me, the Cowboy Channel, when the boys were going to the high school finals and I had to stay home and work
Yeah,
and I didn't get to see it, you know, great, great for these parents that are supporting their kids but don't get the opportunity to go be with them.
right.
Uh, it is a wonderful, wonderful tool. And like Calgary, people, everything stops when Dalen was riding at Calgary.
Yep, yep,
I'm gonna get home and sit and watch it. So,
yep, yep.
and Colton, when are you gonna be on? I want to know so that I can watch it.
You bet.
So,
You bet.
it, it it's evolving,
Oh,
and the more people it brings in, the better it'll be.
there's enough rodeo, Sam. You can watch a rodeo or rodeos 24/7 now. You're never
Yes.
not with the archives and everything. I don't think a person could keep up and watch them all unless that was like a full-time job.
Yeah. And, and you can pick and choose, and
Absolutely.
it's really good.
And
It's
I
really
didn't even
good for
think
me to.
about it. The high school rodeo's got to be up on there. That's perfect. So
It
Cowboy
is.
Channel, go and I no doubt there'll be a big surge in the subscriptions because we're talking about it, right? But it's okay, Cowboy Channel. You just keep rolling, right?
Yeah. Let us know how you make out.
Yeah, let us know how you make out. Yeah.
But yeah, the high school finals, I got to think that has got to be a huge, huge boost for them.
Yep.
For
Yep.
some people, grandparents and people that aren't into it and relatives. I got a kid out there, and subscription wise, they got to have a big boost when that's going on.
Oh, I gotta imagine. Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's see, we've been talking about rodeos, of course, going on Ellicottville. That happened on the 29th through the 2nd. You went out, I saw some pictures. You went out and you checked out the rodeo. What'd you come away with, Sam?
Oh, actually, I didn't make it there.
Oh, I thought I had pictures. I saw you with pictures with Tim Kent. No?
No, not this year.
Oh, oh, oh.
Stuff
Memories?
stuff came up that I did not. Yeah, it must have
Oh,
been memories.
okay. Okay.
Stuff came up. I didn't make it down. I had every intention, and
Yeah.
Eli got set up different from when he wanted, and Raymond, and I had to help my daughter move, so I didn't get down there.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Sorry I didn't, but
Well,
there's been some good people to see, but
yeah.
there'll be time.
Absolutely. And I
I
thought
keep
you
saying there'll be time, people. Do it.
yeah, absolutely. No, no, no. Let's learn some lessons here. Let's not wait. Let's not procrastinate. But I saw on the bareback riding, saw some results already up. This is on the APRA .com results page. Tim Kent wins the bareback riding there with a 78-point ride. Saddle Bronc Stephen Grafen goes 78 points, and Cody McCandless 78 points in the bull riding. The only bull rider, Sam, he walks out with he walks out with $2,340. So evidently he got all the ground money, all the money. Yeah,
Yeah, he got it all, and good for him. But the crowd loves it when people ride, so that means there was probably another 50 contestants
yep,
that didn't make the whistle.
yep, Yeah.
And
And in the tie down roping, there were 4 guys that were under 10 seconds, Sam. And anytime you see anything under 10 seconds, you're looking at some pretty good roping.
yeah, that Ellicottville draws some very good contestants, and it's good watching, and the competitors push each other. So it's a good show.
Good show. Good show. And then we had, I love it that they have the Cowgirl breakaway roping. 2.7 seconds was good enough to tie for first and second, Sam. 2.7 seconds.
That event, I don't know how much faster they can get. It's,
Right, right.
and there's all kinds of people that are so good, and it started from the junior level, and now these girls that have done it their whole life can keep going with it.
Oh, I
And
love it. Absolutely.
it's just, yeah, there's so many girls out there that are so good,
Yep.
so good.
Yep. And then I'm looking at some of the personnel that was there. Of course, you had Wade Hazlett. He was one of the pro judges. He's from back in our day. Sam Danagan, Rob Wright was picking up. Jesse Markle was fighting bulls. Jerry Todd, the announcer, he does Attica. Just always does a great job. And then you had Hollywood Harris. Cliff Harris was there. So it sounds like they had everybody turned out for this. So always do a neat job up there at the Kent's farm up there, Ellicottville, New York.
Very good rodeo.
Yep.
Yeah, and sounds like they had the whole crew together like it used to be, and
That's right.
did an outstanding job, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. I was
Yeah,
surprised to see Dan again because she had to be hustling out of there to get to Shawnee because she's always the secretary for Shawnee out there, the International Finals Youth Rodeo. So she's putting on the
yeah,
miles right now.
there's most years she can't do that, but
Right.
like this year she won't be able to do Ford City because she'll be in Shawnee, and
Yep.
most of the time she can't do Ellicottville because she's in Shawnee.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, excited to see that she's out and about. And then Ford City, as you just talked, Ford Armstrong Rodeo, that went on last weekend. I haven't seen any results yet. Saw some pictures, some memories popped up, Sam, both on yours and on mine. Some great pictures and just great memories that popped up. And then Benton kicks off this week. Actually kicked off last night, I believe. Some barrel racing, some team penning, that sort of thing. And the rodeo itself kicks off tomorrow night. So it's tomorrow night, Thursday night, it's Friday night, Saturday night, always at 7:30. Sunday night, Bulls, Broncs, and Barrels at 7:30 as well. You can check them out at bentonrodeo.com. And this is their 38th annual. And then, of course, we've got kind of the bookend to the rodeo run up here, August 3rd through the 6th. It's going to be Atticus celebrating 65 years. We already said Mike's going to be up there with his poutine food truck. So invite you out for that. Opens up on Thursday, August 3rd, 8 p.m. and closes on Sunday at 2 o'clock. So lots of opportunities. I think 5 performances total. Lots of opportunities for you to get out and see it. Will you be able to get over there, Sam, or are you going to be traveling?
um, I believe I'll get to Attica. Um, if I'm home, I'll go to some of the shows. Yes, can't
Okay.
miss it if you're around.
Oh, no, no, you got to get there. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Arena's always in great condition. That they just do such a great job there, and lots of cowboys. To your point, cowgirls have come through that rodeo arena, and no, always a great rodeo to go see. Lots of food. Stop by and see Gene. You got to talk Gene Rautenstraw if you're up there, don't you? Kind of the
yeah,
yeah, yeah. We need to talk to Gene. We need to get a hold of Gene, I think.
yeah. Gene and Dave Wheeler would be very good to talk to about the history of the rodeo.
You
And,
bet. You bet. Yeah, great fun. And then we're about to wrap up. Any other news, Eli or Raymond or nieces or nephews? Just anything else going on, Sam?
Raymond has been doing well.
Hmm.
He didn't go very hard last week. He's going pretty good this week. And Raymond just rides so good when everything comes together.
Hmm.
And Eli had a rough week the week before, but last week he had a really good week, and we chatted a little bit and really turned things around.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
yeah, they're doing well. And Colton is he's out on the road living a dream, just driving and riding and steer wrestling, and he's in Salt Lake City this he was there yesterday and the past 2 days,
Yeah.
and he in Vernal, Utah. He did very well. Didn't win it, but he might have split second, third, and fourth with. One of the guys was Tyler Wagasback,
Oh, wow.
multi-world
Yeah.
champion.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you're going against those guys
Oh,
every time you nod your head. So it's got to be right. But it's coming around for him. I can, hear him. He's really enjoying it. And
okay.
when you
Okay.
enjoy something, what you're doing, you'll work harder at it, and it'll come together.
You bet. You bet. And he feels good. He's healthy. Shoulders, knees, everything feel right.
Yeah, Colton. He didn't tell me he's sore, and
Okay.
uh, we when we talk, it's because I don't know as much about what he does. It's how's your traveling partners, how
Hmm.
is things going, how's your horses,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
and he 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 feels good as far as I know. He did not say anything other than that.
Okay.
So,
And how long do you know is he going to be out? He's staying out. How long? I mean,
oh
all the
yeah,
way.
that's we discussed that the other day
Yeah.
because he I have a camper at a camping spot for him to stay in back in Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and I said, well, if you're not coming back till October, I don't want to spend the money to keep
Right.
it there,
Right.
and so that's where we ended up. He's staying out till October,
Oh.
as far as we know.
Oh.
So,
Wow. Wow. Wow.
yep.
Very impressive.
Hmm.
Very impressive. Maybe you can sublet it out, Sam, so you don't even have to move it. Just sublet it to
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah.
So what's happening with the horses then? All the horses he has in training.
Well, his mother has taken over that job,
Okay.
and she loves it, so that's good.
She's riding
Uh,
horses for him. She's
yep.
oh nice,
She's
excellent.
she's riding them for him and gives me an update on how they're doing, and yeah, she's taking care of them and riding them.
Oh wow.
So
Oh wow.
yeah,
Okay. Well, very good. Excellent. That can
his
be a
rope
lot of
horses
fun.
and bulldogging horses will probably be barrel horses when he gets home.
If you're going to be out in October, that may just be and she can put together some good barrel racing horses. That'll work too. They'll sell also, Sam.
Yeah, yeah, more versatile the better.
More versatile, the better. Absolutely. So anything we haven't talked about, man, it's been too long. We just took 1 week off, Sam. It's only 1 week. But it seems like there's so much going on right now, and that's kind of the Cowboy Christmas mentality right now.
Yes, busy times,
Busy
busy
times.
times.
All right. Well, if nothing else, Sam, we'll say good day and be safe up there. No more smoke.
Hasn't been any smoke lately. Hopefully the fires are out up there. I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
So I, I, uh, I pray for those people that it's done and run its course, and they can get back to real life.
All right, Sam, will enjoy your day. We hope that you enjoy our podcast as much as we enjoy doing. I got to tell you, anytime I can talk to Sam and we cover the things we cover, it is so much fun. If you do, please share it with your friends. Help us spread the word. We got the posters up, but you know what? You can share our posts on your Facebook page. The more that hear it, we just want to spread the word. Help somebody find it on their phone. Help them follow it, like it. share it, all that sort of thing. To make your listening easier, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Search for Beyond the Chutes and follow us. Reminder, check out the New York State Rodeo Museum Facebook group page and become a member of that. So many great pictures are being posted up there. This is Beyond the Chutes. Until next time, this is Doug Simcox and Sam Swearingen. Thank you for listening.